Hi guys, it's Brittany from B&M Diaries. Hope you guys are well. Happy New Year. And this video that I'm going to be talking about is about my CDA. We actually had a question from somebody about how the tests went and, how it was. I know I don't do that anymore, but I don't mind talking about it. So let's get into it. With this video, I'm going to talk about how the test went and whatnot. Even though I took this test 2 years ago, I'm no longer a lead teacher, but like I said, I don't mind talking about this because it was a great experience. So whoever is going to become a head teacher for preschool or infant toddlers, watch this. This is mostly like preschool related because I was a preschool teacher at a daycare. So the test for the CDA for preschool was not too difficult. There's a lot of questions. I forgot how many questions there was, but there was like a bunch. And, the place that we had to go to is a testing center, and you can't have your cell phone, you can't have a purse, nothing. Basically, this was right before lockdown in 2020. So, you didn't even have to wear a mask at the time. You had to wash your hands and everything before you even went into the testing site. So when I did the test in 2020, it was right before lockdown, like I said, in March of 2020. And I got in and they'll ask you, what are you here for? You just give them, I guess it was the number or I forgot what it was. It was a number, and they knew that you're taking your CDA, which was Child Developmental Associate for preschool. My bad. I did not mean developmental. I meant development. Child Development Associate. It's been a while, not developmental. So anyways, you go in, you give them the number. They give you a card with a number, and you have to put everything in a locker, your phone, your purse. Like I said, you cannot bring your phone in because that would be cheating, and there's cameras around in the room. So you wait for your number to be called. There's a lot of people before me that were taking like other tests, not with the CDA. It's mostly like to become a lawyer, nurse, whatever, because this facility that you take the test at is mostly for that stuff. So now they call my number. I go in and they ask you a question or something. I don't even remember it. Like I said, it's been a while. It's been like 2 years. So you go into a room and there's people in there. But, they have, like, desks with the computer and everything. Before I went in, this woman asked me for my ID. So, yeah, you got to bring your ID because they need to know that you're the person that you are. So I go in the room. I have my private room, and there was a camera above me. And I just know when I started the test, you were timed. Yeah, there's like a little timer. But you actually could go back to questions that you didn't understand. So I start the test, and the questions were pretty easy in the beginning. I felt like the questions for the CDA was mostly with toddlers and infants. There were some preschool questions which were not difficult, but there were scenarios that were like kind of like common sense, like what happens in a classroom. I just can't remember on the top of my head what the questions were, but I remember it did ask you, like, how much bleach do you put in the bottle? Because, like, working at a daycare, you do the bleach solution and the soap solution. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I did this all the time when I worked at the daycare. So they'll ask you stuff like that. They'll ask you other things about, like, children. But like I said, it was mostly, like, toddler and infants and not a lot of preschool. So I'm guessing, like, like, we have knowledge. Like, people that take the CDA have some knowledge in infant and toddler care. Like, I had experience with infant and toddler care, which I had no problem, like, answering the questions. But it was timed. So I'm like, okay, if I didn't understand that question, I could go back, which is totally okay. So if I remember, it was like 65 questions, I think, or was it 70? It was like one of those numbers. And I was in there from like 8 in the morning till about 10 in the morning because you want to take your time and everything. So you just want to go through the questions and like I said, you're timed, but like it's not that bad with the timing, but towards the end of the test, the time gets like a little bit quicker. So I was there for about like 3 hours, and it was all worth it. And like I said, the questions, you know, I mean, they're common sense. It's just, it was a lot of work that I did taking this class, and then in the end, it's like, I did great, you know? Like, I did my CDA, and the test was just, I just felt like I was in high school with the test, but it was obviously on the computer. But if you do want to take this test, just, you know, go in with a positive attitude, which I did, and take your time, and just, like, you know, just go through your CDA book, and, you know, just have, you know, do some refreshers, and you will be fine with this, and you'll definitely pass. So after the test was done, you know, it says you're finished, you just leave, you get your stuff back, like you'll go back to the locker, get your things, and then you leave. But the sucky part was I was supposed to do my visit after, but then COVID hit, and we had to wait. A year later, 2021, I did the visit with a friend of mine who I worked with, who was amazing. She did a great job. So did I. And our other friends that did the visit, they did an awesome job as well. They did great. We finally got to do our visit in June, and we passed. Obviously, you've seen the previous videos. But the thing is, with the test, how do we know if we passed the test? They don't tell you if you pass or fail with the test. They pass or fail you is, I believe, if I remember, is with the visit. I never got to know if I passed that test or not, but clearly I passed if I did the visit. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. I wish they could tell you if you passed on the actual test that you take at the place. But you have to have like your CDA stuff, like, you know, your login, the, you know, child care counsel. I should have asked them when I was working at the daycare, like if I could call the child care counsel and be like, hey, like, did I pass the test? Obviously I passed the visit, but I want to know if I passed the test. So that's the sucky thing about the test, is you don't know if you passed or failed. That's the thing. In the end, everything is worth it. So like I said, if you are interested in becoming a head teacher or taking this test, do it with an open mind, positive mind. Just do it. Like, even if like you don't understand the questions, it's okay. Like, even if you're doing it for preschool and you have some toddler questions and infant, it's totally okay. Just do it. I did it. You know, I worked in a daycare setting for 6 years, and honestly, it was a great experience for me. And the CDA was honestly a very great experience, and it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot of new things, and definitely the test, I learned some things too. I hope this video helps, and yeah. Thank you guys.